Water's boiling, just added some salt, got the heat on high, and now it's time to break down how to make the perfect summer pasta salad. I have some important hacks and tips to share with you in this episode. Hey friend, if we haven't met yet, I am Erin Chase from $5 Dinners, and I'm all about helping you spend less money on groceries while still eating delicious, wholesome, and healthy food. And I'm sharing this summer pasta kind of formula approach with you so that you can work with the items that are in your pantry, the ingredients that are on sale this week, so that you can make the perfect summer pasta salad anytime you need it with ingredients that you got for as little as possible. I'm gonna share ideas for the different categories as well as some other important hacks and tips with you. First, let's start with the formula, and then we'll get the pasta cooking, and I'll show you how we mix it all up together. We're gonna start with a pound of pasta. So that's gonna be a 16-ounce bag. Traditionally, pasta salads use smaller shell noodles. This is just an elbow noodle. A rotini is super great. Even a mini penne would be awesome. I am actually going to go ahead and use a gluten-free pasta so that the gluten-free folks in our family can enjoy this pasta salad later. That does add a tiny bit of cost to it, but if you need to be gluten-free, homemade summer pasta salads with a gluten-free small shell pasta is definitely an option. Let's start with protein. I usually add about 2 cups of protein with each pound of pasta that is being cooked. So if you're making a bigger pasta salad, of course, you can do the multiplications for all of these items, but 2 cups of protein. So that is going to be a shredded chicken. That is going to be 2 to 3 cans of tuna that you've drained well. I prefer a water-based tuna versus an oil-based tuna in a pasta salad, but that is up to you. So shredded chicken, tuna, diced ham, diced salami, diced turkey. Those deli meats that are really easy to just sort of chop up into smaller little mini bite-sized pieces to toss in with your pasta salad. So 2 cups of a protein of some kind with your 1 pound of pasta. Most pasta salads have some sort of a cheese with them, whether it's a shredded cheese, a crumbled cheese, feta, maybe blue cheese, a gorgonzola. Depending on the flavor profile of your pasta dish, you're probably gonna have some sort of cheese. I go with about a cup. These are the little pearls, the mozzarella pearls. You'll see me put these in the pasta salad later, but I usually go with about a cup of cheese for your pasta salad. Of course, you can eyeball it. Of course, you can add more depending on if you want a little more punch from the gorgonzola or a little more cheddar flavor, depending on what you're mixing together. Go ahead and add a little more if you need to, but I generally go with about a cup of cheese. When it comes to the mix-ins and the veggies, I also go with about a cup each. So maybe it's olives and quartered artichoke hearts and tomatoes, right? So that's sort of a Mediterranean, Greek, Italian sort of base. Pepperoncini peppers is another good mix in. Different types of olives are really easy to add in. If you're doing like a Cobb type pasta salad, that's going to be chopped up eggs, the grape or cherry tomatoes that you're gonna quarter or halve. So thinking about those different mix-ins, I do about 1 cup each. And finally, the dressing. The dressing is however much you prefer. I am gonna share with you an important tip when we're going to make the pasta salad. I'll share that tip with you after we have put it all together. But it's really up to you. With a vinaigrette-based dressing, if it's really kind of tangy and heavy on the vinegar, I'm gonna go lighter. If it's a mayo-based recipe, I would probably add a little bit more. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of eyeball that and do it to flavor when we're putting the pasta salad together. That also depends on how many mix-ins there are and whatnot. The dressing amount also depends on how many mix-ins there are, even the type of pasta. Like rotini pasta has more surface area than an elbow pasta would because of all those little rolls, right? So that's a little bit more of an eyeball situation, and the type of dressing that you're using is also gonna vary how much you're going to use. Okay, in today's video, I'm gonna demonstrate a antipasto type of pasta salad, if you will. But before I do that, I want to share with you one of my other favorite pasta salad dressings that I think goes unnoticed. If you've ever seen this sandwich spread in your store, it's a mayo-based sauce that usually you would just spread onto a sandwich, but it makes a fabulous dressing for a pasta salad. It's got some different mix-ins in it. It has a little bit more tang to it because it has some vinegar and a little bit more vinegar and chopped up pickles in it. It's really, really, really delicious. If you've never tried it, it's a must try. It is the dressing in my favorite pasta salad that my grandmother used to make for us growing up that also had tuna in it and peas and halved tomatoes. So really, really great and easy pasta salad. I will also put that link in the description below so you can have both the recipe for this antipasto and the recipe for my favorite pasta salad that my grandmother used to make. I'm gonna shift the camera view real quick so we can start to prepare the ingredients while the pasta is cooking, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, the pasta is going and we need to prepare all of these mix-ins. So I'm gonna start with just having the tomatoes, just a quick knife through. I'm gonna try and keep them all over here in the corner. I am just gonna go ahead and use this entire container. It's probably a little bit more than a cup by the time these are all chopped up, but that is okay. I'm never sad about extra tomato in a pasta salad. We're also going to chiffonade the basil, and I'm going to chop up this salami into little bites. I think I will probably use I don't think I'll use that entire salami. I think I might I'll get to 2 cups and then slice whatever is left of the salami. Okay. Oh, we have a runaway. Come back. This is not my favorite knife, but I'm using it because it's the other one, it needs to be cleaned. What do we do? Actually, this isn't bad to use a smaller knife for these sort of finer chopping things like this. Paring knife would work for this as well. You just have a little bit more control over those smaller knives. But here, alas, here we are. If you've never used these little mozzarella pearls, they're so convenient and they're so good and they're the perfect size. These are the mini pearls. And I'm just gonna show you. They're just these little tiny, they're already ready to go to dump in the pasta salad like this. They're just packaged in there and they're just the perfect little size for adding to a pasta salad. So I'm gonna just leave that there. I've already drained a little bit of the brine off of this, the olive, so that these are all ready to dump and go. Okay, for my vinaigrette is an herb-based vinaigrette that I'm gonna use for this pasta salad. So I'm gonna probably pick off about 8, these are kind of small, so maybe 10 of these basil leaves. And I'm gonna chiffonade them. I do have a full video about this, but I'm gonna just show you here as well. Chiffonading is basically how you get these little strips of basil that we will toss in to, man, these are itty bitty. I didn't realize these were gonna be such small leaves. I didn't notice all the tiny guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the smaller leaves on the inside. These are all tiny. Okay, let's see how my fine motor skills are this morning. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of pick them up and just sort of nest them together, if you will. And try to get the bigger ones on the outside. Look at that little tiny guy. He's like a little baby. So you basically have a little pile of leaves. We're gonna roll them up as tight as we can. This is hard to do because these are tiny. Okay, I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna really fold it over once. And then you're just gonna run your knife kind of at an angle and cut little thin strips so we get these ribbons, if you will. Gosh, I did not realize these were gonna be so little. Be very careful. Keep your knuckles bent so you don't cut yourself. Okay, there we have our ribbons. There's the little pile of ribbons. Let me move you over here. That will do. We did our best with our tiny leaves. I have a video somewhere I will link below. It's what we do. We chiffonade the best we can with what we got. Okay, so with the salami, I am going to chop and then slice whatever we don't need. I might end up using all of this. My boys are never gonna be sad about extra salami in a pasta salad. So I'm just gonna cut like 1/3 of an inch or so. Not too thin, but I still want these to be kind of bite-sized with other ingredients. in each bite, if you will. So I'll generally do a couple, and then I'll just make a couple slices through, and then that's a third and a third and a third. I need to switch knives. This one's not gonna be up for this task. Let me get that other one out. I'm gonna have to clean it. I'm gonna go get the other knife out to finish cutting through this salami. This one's just not heavy enough. I'll be back after I have cut this up and drained the pasta. Okay, I'm gonna drain the pasta, finish cutting this real quick. Okay, here's one of my hacks. I'm sorry you can't see my face. For pasta salad, you need to rinse with cold water, okay? We don't want any of that cooking water, pasta residue, especially if you're using gluten-free pasta. We're gonna rinse this with cold water to get rid of that starchy residue and also to cool it down faster for when we go to mix everything in. The gluten-free pasta especially gets starchy, a really starchy cooking liquid, so you just wanna make sure to rinse all of that off. Okay, I just have this, you might be able to see it actually. It's just sitting right here draining into the sink. And I am glad I switched knives because this is a lot easier to cut with this heavier knife, and I can kind of brace it against the cutting board. So here is the salami. There were a couple slices left that I will have with a little cheese for lunch today. So here we have all of our mix-ins ready to go. We have our protein, we have our cheese, we have our tomatoes, and we have our basil, olives, and the dressing that we are going to use. Here we go, right into our dish. And there's the pasta. Okay, let me shift this around a little bit here. I have everything right here on this cutting board, so I'm just gonna slide it all in, or it's gonna roll in on its own. Okay. This is the risk of doing this. We're just gonna end up with pearls and tomatoes rolling everywhere. Everything else should slide in. I suppose I could use my knife to guide this stuff, huh? There we go. Not too bad. We only had one guy flying out there. Okay, so I'm just gonna gently toss. This is a gluten-free pasta, so it is a little, it doesn't quite al dente the same as a wheat-based pasta, but close enough. Looking amazing. Okay, here is where we arrive at the hack. A mayo-based dressing, you're gonna have to eyeball. I would start with about a half a cup. And again, that's gonna depend on the type of pasta, how much surface area the pasta has, as well as everything else that you just mixed in there. When I do a vinaigrette-based dressing like this one, I will just do a thin layer over the top, toss it together, give it a taste, and add more. We're not gonna really need any salt or pepper for this one. We have plenty of salt from the olives and the salami, so I'm gonna skip that step, but I would usually add a little bit of salt and pepper at this point. So just a thin layer. And I have found that layer on top of the bowl for a dressing strategy to be fairly effective with lots of different types of meals, definitely a pasta salad. So let me do this. Let me toss this over. And if we need to add more, we will certainly add a little bit more. I think I'm gonna just do another like half a drizzle. That was a half a drizzle. The line is here. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it through the lighting here in the kitchen, but it's about right here. So I would say about half of this jar, which would be 5 ounces. That is, I think, gonna be just perfect. But as a guide, again, start with a thin layer on the top of your whole big bowl. Mix it up, add a little bit more, give it a little taste, and then see if you need to add more. So I'm gonna try and get a tomato, a pearl. I'm gonna try to get one of each. Okay, there's the perfect bite. There's an olive hiding under there, but you get the idea. So I'm gonna give this a try and then see if we need more dressing. I don't think it needs more dressing. Totally up to you. Again, if you need to add a little salt, you could. I don't think you need to because of the salami and the olives. There it is, the perfect summer pasta salad. Here is a recap of the sort of formula and ratio that you want to go with. A 16-ounce bag of small shell pasta, 2 cups of chopped protein, 1 cup of some sort of small cheese, shredded, pearls, crumbles, any of those types of cheeses, depending on the flavor profile you're going for. 1 cup of some different mix-ins. In this case, we did tomatoes and olives. I ended up doing 2 cups of tomatoes about roughly, and about 1 cup of the sliced green olives. And in this case, we also added a little bit of fresh basil to go with the herb vinaigrette. We did that thin layer of herb vinaigrette over the top, and I added just a little bit more. It ended up being in total about 5 ounces. Any flavor profile works with this sort of formulaic approach to a summer pasta salad. Let me know if you're gonna try this recipe. The whole recipe is down below. Whatever flavor combination you're gonna try, let me know in the comments below. So now you know how to make any summer pasta salad. If this video was helpful, you learned something new, you're going to give it a try, please give me a thumbs up. That helps other people find this video on YouTube. Also, please subscribe to our channel. We're releasing new great videos every week on how to help you spend less money on groceries while still making delicious, affordable meals for your family. All right, my friend, it's bye for now, and I will see you in the next video.